Hey guys, so yesterday was an experience I've never had before. I mean, it's not a good experience or a bad experience, it's just an experience. So, remember how I was complaining about throwing up and how my digestive system hates me? Well, that's been going on for 3 weeks and we haven't done anything about it. But it got to the point where, not yesterday, but the day before, my mom made an appointment at the Mayo Clinic in our town. Our town's Mayo Clinic is pretty crappy and doesn't deal with the complex stuff like this. So, the day of the appointment, I was actually feeling pretty good. And we got to the Mayo Clinic and we headed in, and doctor called us back, whatever, and checked my vitals like they usually do first off at an appointment. And she asked me a bunch of, no, it was the nurse. She asked me a bunch of questions about just my stomach and how it usually feels on like bad days or whatever. She did a strep test on me, which we all weren't thinking. My mom, me, and the nurse weren't thinking it was strep, but get to make sure anyway, because my throat was kind of red. I mean, it was sore from like throwing up and stuff, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was kind of crying through that one. You guys can call me a baby, I don't care, but I was crying. But it wasn't actually that bad compared to when the last time I took one, which was when I was younger. Once the nurse saw the strep test was negative, which we were all expecting, she went and ordered labs. If you don't know what that is, it's like basically getting your blood drawn. So we went on a different floor to do that. Different floor of the Mayo Clinic. We went down there, got my blood drawn, and as we were down there, we were talking to like the two schedulers, the lab schedulers or whatever, if that makes sense. We were talking to them, and they scheduled a B. pylori test, which, if you don't know, is a bacteria that gets in your stomach and in through your mouth, I think. I'm not sure. So when I was in the room, in the chair, right before I was gonna get my blood drawn, as soon as I saw that needle come out of the bag and into my skin, I was looking the other way because I didn't want to see the needle. I was doing the thing, I was doing the same thing, looking away for the strep test too. But as as I seen that needle come out of the bag and into my skin, I was screaming. And actually, like, when the lady was taking it out, she had to have one other lady come because she couldn't find the vein. So once the other lady found the vein and all that happened, I was screaming. And when she took it out, she told me that I could stop screaming now. And literally, as I was screaming, the whole room where the blood drawers were went silent. And even there was a baby crying, and even they stopped crying because I was screaming. But credits go to her though. You know who you are. You're probably not watching this. Probably not anybody who I mention in my videos are not watching this. But credits go to you because you do that so good and fast that I didn't even, like, I don't know, you just weren't slow like the rest of the blood drawers are usually. When it was finally done, the other doctor or whatever, the blood drawer, was gonna walk out of the curtain, and as soon as she walked out of the curtain, somebody outside of the curtain asked her if everything was okay behind my curtain. And she said, yeah. I can be a little pain in the butt for getting my blood drawn. That needle hurts like heck. But I was surprised though, because it wasn't actually that bad compared to, again, when I was younger. When you're younger, I think things like seem more painful, like that kind of stuff. But it wasn't actually that bad. Now they don't have to take my blood for until I'm 20 or 19 maybe, because yeah, sometimes Joubert syndrome is stupid, y'all. Like, I got tested for my kidneys and liver, because sometimes with the Joubert syndrome, those two can get messed up. After that, though, after I left that room where the blood drawers were, I was so relieved because the hard part was over, basically. Because the H. pylori test was just a test where you had to blow it into a bag. And then you had to drink this, like, sweet, tart kind of water. When me and my mom were waiting in the waiting room to get my blood drawn, I was trying not to cry because I was so shaky because of dehydration. And I couldn't drink or eat anything because of the B. pylori test. No, I think it's H. pylori test. Yeah, I think that's right, because it sounds right. I didn't cry for the H. pylori test because it was pretty easy. And I was just relieved that the hard parts were over. And then after that, we went and headed home. And a little bit later, like me, because I didn't feel good, and like people, normal people, because there's no normal in this world, like normal people, we take naps when we don't feel good. And when I woke up from my nap, I was so hot. Like, my face felt like it was burning. And just, like, the insides, my brain and everything was just on fire. And I looked pale, too. I think. I don't know. But I found out that I had fever, which I thought that I had because it felt like I had a fever. And mind you, we did not get the blood test results yet. Like, the doctors and nurses said they were gonna get us, but we didn't get no blood test results, which made us kind of mad. So my mom was on the phone telling them I had a fever now, and we were just gonna head up to the cities because they have a really nice Mayo Clinic up there. But I didn't realize my mom was gonna take me to the ER department, which is on the other side of where the Mayo Clinic is, the other side of town. This was at 5-ish, 6-ish, when we're in the middle of winter and it gets dark quicker. So we were basically driving in the dark for an hour. When we got to the ER, there wasn't no ramps or anything, which I wasn't expecting because a big hospital like that usually has ramps. But they didn't, and we got to park close to the building. Duh, since it's an emergency. We went in. We sat down. There was a nurse who took my vitals in a room. She was pretty quick about it, so I was like, oh, like, this is serious? I didn't even realize this was that serious. My mom explained to her what was going on. And she sat us back out in the waiting room. And it took, like, forever to get us to get us a room, actually, with a bed and a doctor and nurse or whatever. I haven't been to an ER before that I remember. I've been to one before I got diagnosed with Joubert syndrome. But other than that, I haven't been to an ER before, so I was not expecting all of this at all. I've never been in an actual ER bed before, like with the side rails. It was kind of like cool and scary at the same time, because scary because I didn't know what to expect, cool because I've never done this before, and this was exciting, kind of. And when my main nurse came in, I was not expecting okay, so usually my mom does all the talking for me because I'm too shy to talk to them people. But I legit did all the talking. Like, once I started answering questions, I just made it through the whole, like, what's the matter type thing. The first thing she had me do, which we were kind of expecting, me and my mom were kind of expecting, she had me urinate in a cup, which I haven't done before. I haven't done that in forever. And then she ordered a CT scan and a ultrasound, but before the CT was first. So before the CT, she had me drink a whole gallon of, well, I'm not sure if it was a gallon, but it was like one of those big hospital cups or whatever, or like jugs. So she had me drink water. She put dye in it. It wasn't actually dye, but it was this, like, I don't know, something that went in my IV as well. Oh, and by the way, I had an IV put in me, which I haven't had put in me that I remember. I was kind of scared for that because I didn't have one put in me that I remember. So I had my mom talk to me and we just chatted about like life or whatever while she put the IV in, and I did not flinch whatsoever. So that talking kind of helped. So I just could get my mind off the how much pain it was going to be. But it wasn't actually that bad. It was like a kind of like a pinch, even lighter than a blood draw. And they're the same kind of looking needles too. So after I got done drinking that disgusting jug of water that I was so sick of by the time I reached the bottom of the jug or whatever, it was that disgusting, y'all. It felt like, or it tasted like, I don't know, it just tasted really disgusting. And the same thing, I tasted the thing that went into my IV in my mouth. It was really disgusting. It tasted like a metallic thing. She warned me of that too. Anyway, after I was done drinking that nasty drink, this other nurse came in and wheeled my bed out to the hallway. I never got a bed ride in an ER before. It was kind of cool. But she rolled me to the CT scan room where the CT machine was. And I was almost gonna cry when we reached that room. And she like put my bed next to the thing where you lay down and it like scans you or whatever. By the way, my mom went with too because I wanted her to come with because she didn't know if she was able to or not. But I sang a lyric from the song from Foundation in my head like the whole entire time. Even when I was in there too, I kept that lyric in my head. The lyric was, I'm safe with you, I'm gonna make it through. Cause again, I was terrified. I haven't had a CT scan done before. So anyway, I got up there, I followed what the machine told me to do, cause it told me to hold my breath until I got into the machine, and I could let it go to breathe. When I was going back and forth out the machine and into the machine just to get pictures, I think.
Hold your breath.
And actually, in between one of the pictures that they took of my insides. One of the nurses came to my IV and put something in it that made me feel like I was wetting myself. Like, it did not feel good. It felt really weird. But I stayed calm and collected literally the whole time, even though I was scared, because, yeah, I just wanted to distract myself, I guess, from the stress unknown. I don't know. And the whole time, too, I was cracking jokes in high spirits because I think that's a coping mechanism for me. Whenever I, like, feel stress against a certain situation, I kind of do that to distract myself. And they also had to put warm blankets on me because I was cold. And then right after that, since my bladder was full, because you have to have a full bladder to do an ultrasound, they rolled me straight to the CT, to the ultrasound room. This doctor that I met in the ultrasound room, who was doing my ultrasound, reminded me of my old eye doctor who is retired now. And it kind of, I don't know, I just thought that was so weird. It kind of made me sad in a way. And when I was done with my ultrasound, one other nurse came to roll me back to the room I was staying in, which was further away from the CT and the ultrasound. So I got another fun ride. And I'm making this all sound like there was no waiting involved. But trust me, there was like hour wait in between all of this. By the time we got out of there, it was like it was actually 12. I think. Yeah, I think it was 12 in the morning. By the time we left, my mom was really tired. So was I. But we got the results. The fever was just because I was dehydrated. And the others I won't say because it's like really disgusting. It hurt a lot when my main nurse, was taking out the IV because it had like stickers and patches all over it. So it would stay in place. My hairs were screaming on my arms. I'm so proud of myself. And it's weird because I didn't cry, like, at all during those tests and that ER visit. Like, I don't know what just happened. Like, I would expect myself to cry during all of those things because I'm not used to all of those things. And we had an hour-long drive back to our house, so that didn't help at all. It was by the time we got to our house, it was almost 2 a.m. So I was pretty tired, and I still am tired today. But tonight I think I'll get a nice, good sleep, considering I'm this tired. Bye, guys. Oh, and this morning I took a nap, and when I woke up from my nap, a bunch of people texted me and was like, why are you in the ER? Because I posted something about it, not explaining why, on my Snapchat story. And yeah, turns out a lot of people were worried about me. It's hard to explain, but that whole experience at the ER was kind of fun for me. Especially because I have never experienced anything like this in my life before. Other than the CT scan I've never experienced before, but the other stuff I've experienced when I was a baby. But before I got diagnosed. What does my eyebrow do right there? I am so glad that God answered my prayers finally yesterday. Because I was a medical mystery for a while.